you, similar to the show, I am wildly underprepared. I'm really excited to be hosting this tonight and to talk to my dear friend John. I just want to say a few people could not make it. One person in particular, unfortunately, is not going to be here, and that is O.J. Simpson. I just want to O.J.'s greatest crime, that he left us too soon. But tonight's not about OJ, even though it's a show about LA and they don't even fucking talk about OJ. Okay, fine. All right, so welcome to the official FYC event for John Mulaney Presents. Everyone in LA, hosted, executive produced, and written by John Mulaney, I would say the funniest person in the world. Everybody in LA is a talk series that stream. Yeah, there you go. Clap for him. Everybody in LA was a talk series that streamed live on Netflix during the Netflix is a Joke Fest in May. I don't know if you caught, but there were a couple shows. That Netflix did. There was a few of them around town. It made it really easy for all the comedians to successfully fill their shows. New York Magazine called it a TV miracle. Jon Stewart said, "I feel like this entire show is a Banksy." Our conversation will be in two parts today. First, we're going to hear from John, and later, the creative team and writers behind this wonderful show. They will be joining us. So, please welcome to the stage two-time Emmy and WGA award-winning writer, actor, comedian, and host of Everybody's in LA, Mr. John Mulaney!
To see you.
Hi, John.
Just out here with our cordlesses.
Yeah. I'm so happy to be sitting in the chair where you had to awkwardly put your elbows during the show.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Did you know you didn't? Did you know how high these?
Yeah. Andrea, our production designer, and I worked on the chairs. I mean, I didn't work on the chairs, but she designed the chairs, and I said they should be deep and high.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
Well, I wanted a lot of shows that I've been on have shallow furniture, so it's easier to sit up straight and stuff.
Yeah.
And I wanted deep chairs.
You wanted deep slumpers.
Yeah, and I enjoy as the 6 episodes went on. We did a full 6, a full order. It was like those early days of television when you were just making only 6.
Oh.
And as it went on, I got better and better at slumping in the chair and leaning back.
Because I feel like the instinct is to be up here.
For sure, and it will be in the beginning.
Yeah.
And by the end of this panel, you'll be deep.
Sure.
Deep in the red, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, but this, I felt like I'm like here, and it is kind of nice to rest. But this is like, you were like, I want Pete Davidson couch vibes. I want slouch in a Knicks bomber vibes.
100%, and we got there because he showed up in a bomber and definitely slouched. This couch is remarkably comfortable, I'll say.
Is this your first time in that couch?
No, I sat on it once during a rehearsal.
This is the stuff. This is the stuff you guys came to North Hollywood to hear.
Here we are on Witsit or whatever. What is it?
Lankersham.
We're on.
I mean, this is the TV Academy. This is the house that Frasier built.
Yeah. This
the
is
new
the
one.
Saban.
This is the Saban. A seemingly the Saban Medical Center fortune built this.
What is that? The Saban family has medical centers?
I believe so. Anyone know? Saban. Right there. Oh, right.
That's
He's an Israeli, and they brought Power Rangers to the U.S. as well. There we go. A more enthusiastic applause for the Power Rangers for them, the show that you just watched. A full 6. A British 6.
A British 6. Yes.
A British 6. John, when did you decide to make a show that was, like, largely difficult?
After after the strike, and I did work during the strike.
Yeah.
But after the strike, I wrote, I took meetings and I wrote, and I loved every minute of it. I wrote and pitched shows all through the strike. No one was there, but I would pitch.
Yeah.
I pitched to people I met on the street.
Yeah.
And some of them were generals, but most of them became pitches. And I struck and I picketed and I pitched. And what if I did this bit for 35 more minutes?
Yeah.
So right after the strike, Netflix came to me and said, you know, we have this festival coming up. I said, yes, I do know that. And Robbie Pross said, we have 6 nights of the festival where we want to do a live, as in live on, live happening at that moment show.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like all they had.
Great.
The one idea was stand up at the Geffen Theater.
Sure.
Only
David
David
Geffen.
doing
Yeah.
stand up. Just Laura Nyro stories. He has a tight hour on Joni Mitchell that's just great. So
it's David Geffen and friends, and it's all the people who go on that yacht with him. And then it's like Rita Wilson doing 45 minutes.
Yeah.
She's on the yacht. What? She's on the yacht. You're wearing a Nickelback t-shirt.
Nickelback guy went,
oh, Rita Wilson cutting it. And he's out, and he's done. Oh no, he's just putting his coat on. It's almost as cold as it was on the stage.
That's funny.
Thank you.
Wait, what was the question? Oh yeah, why do a difficult show? Yeah. I like that it was an assignment and that it had a start date and an end date, like a summer job or something.
Yeah.
And I like that. I really like the idea of like you can make it whatever you want.
Yeah. I just like thinking of you in Chicago at like 16, being like, John, this summer you can mow lawns or you can do your own talk show.
Yeah, and it'll be done May 10th. It'll start May 3rd.
And
by the time you get feedback, you'll have been off the air for 2 weeks.
How bad do you want the Emmy?
I covet things.
Yeah.
I covet gold.
You've won awards. You've won Emmys. But why
you said
is this...
WGA and Emmy, which is true, but I also won a Critics' Choice Award.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's fucked up to leave out.
Yeah, I know. Well, it wasn't written. You wrote these for everything here for me.
I messed up.
John, you look slim, but not Coke slim.
Right. John, why are you younger now? I definitely won a Critics' Choice.
But having won all of these various awards,
I covet more awards.
Yeah, because it's validation.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really nice. But if I don't win, I love being nominated and going.
Equally, yes.
Not equally. I love winning.
Sure. Yeah, but you love it, but just not equally. That's fair.
I love all. But not, all kidding aside, I love all things entertainment.
Yeah, you really do love show business. And so this was a real show business show, but like in a very different way than a lot of show business. I mean, I guess talk for a minute about like the Netflix is a joke. How much of it came from that idea that
talk for a minute.
Talk for a second. About like just being like, okay, what was the actual like the dissemination of the show? Is that a word? You just pretended like it was.
Dude, I was gonna sail right through that. I don't know if semination. If it is a word, it's not what you meant, which was talk about putting the show together.
Yeah.
Unless it is disseminate.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk about filling your pants with semination.
So wait, putting this
like just the idea, really being like, was it like, all right, Netflix is a joke, is here, there all these comedians are...
I did, and this is like a soundbite, but it's true also. I was like, I said to Robbie and Ted Sarandos, I said, what's great about the Netflix festival is everyone's in town at the same time, and we get to see each other, and we get to go to each other's shows, and there's that brunch.
Sure.
And we all eat salty waffle.
Yeah.
And everyone gets to interact, and that doesn't happen a lot. Like, we're not in the same place at the same time. And I thought what's cool is that the place we're in is the weirdest, most interesting city in the world.
Yes.
And just the strangest place I've ever been. And I thought, I've always wanted to do something about LA, and this would be it. I said, early conversation, I said, I will do it not that this is what the show became, but I said, I will do it if I can cover the festival like it's the Rodney King uprising. And they were like, okay. You know, sometimes calls with me just end, you know, they didn't say that. They were like, gay, there you go.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's not a no.
That's not a no. And when the big choice was, when did it transition from everyone's in LA to everybody's in LA?
Came out right away, everybody's in LA.
Oh, okay.
Do you think everyone's in LA sounds better?
No, I think when you said it earlier, you were like, well, everyone's in LA for the festival, and I was like, wow.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wonder if there was data testing on that.
No, that's interesting. I said everyone's, yeah.
And then, but then the idea that you were like, all right, I'm gonna bring everyone together. What were you watching in preparation? Like, what talk shows or what kind of content stuff
This
were you watching?
Glenn O'Brien show called TV Party that was on in like the East Village in the 80s in New York.
Sure, I mean, we're all
We're all TV Party fans. I didn't rewatch Larry King live, but I liked it so much when it was
because you
on.
know it all by heart.
I do. I know every episode. I'm a completist. And I just liked people calling in, and I liked how Larry never had a lot of information at the ready, even though the show went well into the, what you call the information superhighway.
And that's the internet for you guys.
So I liked taking calls and sort of floating the questions. I liked that a lot. I watched the McLaughlin group. And
these are all massively popular pop culture phenomenons that you're drawing on.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I watched a lot of early MTV.
Uh-huh.
Dave Ferguson and I talked a lot about that. Dave Ferguson, our head writer.
Yeah, well, the original version of this, I'm told, and I don't know if you confirm this, it was going to be John Mulaney's The Grind. And it was going to be you doing graphic dancing in like cargo shorts.
Yeah, well, I was sort of the I called myself the party starter.
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't dancing myself.
Now, like, you had, obviously, the episode we just saw, you had Letterman on.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of people, you had Letterman and Seinfeld and Jon Stewart. You had a lot of people, an insane group of people throughout the run of the show, but particularly Letterman and Stewart, who have hosted their own shows. Were you more self-conscious when they were on of like how the show was going?
Yeah, I was most self-conscious, I think, when Letterman was on.
Yeah.
Because I because I was like, I could, not him, but in my head, I worried he'd be like, oh, you think you know how to run a weird show?
Yeah.
And I certainly wasn't. But then again, I don't think he nor I were trying to run a weird show. We were trying to do a good show.
Yes.
And those were the ideas we had.
Yeah, we're weird.
We're sort of weird, yeah.
Now,
a lot of it's straightforward. It's like, we take calls and we talk about not niche topics or anything.
No, I don't mean to imply that it is niche.
No, it is niche.
Yeah.
The data shows that. But I didn't set out to do. I thought, I was like, I actually did have the thought a few times, this might be too mainstream. People are gonna think I sold out.
They're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing the Brian Grazer talks to little kids bit.
Yeah, that was one I was like,
This is so mainstream.
Too down the middle.
How about Grazer's outfit? Just perfect. Everything
Great.
about it.
Man, he told 109 stories. We used 3 of them. I mean, each one better than the next.
Does it make you crazy that you didn't have Earthquake on the Earthquakes episode?
No, I did that. I mean,
you did it on purpose?
Yeah,
This is
100%.
how much you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
If we had Earthquake on the Earthquake show, what are we going to go? Well, your name's Earthquake. Like, walk me through why that would be good.
Why did you think about having Piper Perabo, star of Coyote Ugly, on the Coyote episode?
100%. But Piper passed.
Yeah.
Who passed?
Who passed? Who passed?
Oh, who passed? David Lynch passed. He said, I don't understand what this is. And then he said, I'm working on new art and I have to keep my eye on the donut. which was like the best pass. In our promo we shot all these people around Los Angeles talking about, just doing the promo in different one or two word snippets. And one of the statements we got out in our promo was, everyone who passed did it in a nice, funny way.
Yeah.
And everyone did pass in a nice way. Werner Herzog passed. He said, I have to keep away from the comedians.
Oh.
Emmett Walsh died, an actor. I was reaching out to him and he died. He was 83, and he was not the only 83-year-old person we reached out to.
Yeah. Who else?
Let's see. They're not 83, but Jane's Addiction passed. And now they're reuniting, which was my idea for them.
Wait.
So in a
you were trying to get Perry Farrell on your show?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were like, we're not doing that right now. Now I see they're going on the road. Now, I could hold a grudge, or I could say, since I gave you the idea to reunite, I get 10% of the tour.
Let's talk financials. How much did you make per episode?
Did I make for my EP episodic?
Yeah, let's break down the fees. There's writing, there's EP.
And then there's what's called host.
Yeah, then there's host, there's talent.
Yeah.
So let's break those down.
So I don't have quotes the way some of you probably think I do.
Yeah, and it's hard to get quotes for a six night show.
Sure. What do you pay?
You just have to understand, John and I just had the briefest of glances where it was like, are we gonna talk real numbers right now?
And both of us going, it would be great.
Yeah. And I'm like,
you, but it wouldn't quote well in print.
Yeah.
I like to say it this way. They gave me this jacket.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, for the whole thing.
That's really nice.
What do you get for the drug addict who's only doing 6 nights of work?
Bonobo's top shelf.
Hey, thanks for hosting this.
Oh, my pleasure. Are there questions that Richard Kind.
The greatest.
The greatest.
The greatest.
We both have over time and consistently fallen in love with Richard Kind.
I don't know as fans, but I was so envious when you had him on Kroll show.
Yeah.
In the political talk show May I Finish.
Yes, May I Finish, and then also in Ponytails, and it was a MTV style doc show about men with ponytails.
Yeah.
And
he played a lawyer with a ponytail.
Yes. He played like a civil rights lawyer with a ponytail.
Like William Kunstler.
It was a Kunstler-esque character who loved playing bass guitar in his free time. But how much of the stuff you did with him was scripted? How much of it was improvised?
A lot of, Richard, was always like, was always in the mix in the conversation because he had lived through so many things, including wild animal attacks. He was haunted a great deal when he was at the Santa Monica Opera House doing Second City.
Not by Charlie Sheen on Spin City.
Was Charlie Sheen on Spin City?
He took over for Michael J. Fox.
Charlie Sheen did?
Yeah.
And then he did 2.5 Men?
And then he did 2.5 Men.
That guy works.
That guy works. Whatever you say about him, the guy works.
True. So Richard Kind,
he'd lived through all of these events.
Yeah, he'd been haunted a lot when he was doing Second City at Santa Monica Opera House. He obviously had a lot of thoughts on earthquakes. And so he was always, I loved looking over and seeing him on the other side of the stage.
Well, what's interesting about Richard is his voice could pierce through metal, and yet he really did I thought a really good job of he popped in when he was needed or wanted. He really kind of found a good...
He did. So what happened was I was listening to the song I was trying to license from Wang Chung called To Live and Die in LA.
Yeah.
And early on in the process, I was listening to it, and in my head, I heard like, tonight!
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld! And I was like, oh, that's Richard for sure. But I hear a lot of things in Richard's voice in my head.
Yes.
So then I talked to the writers about, okay, I'm going to ask Rich Kind to be our announcer and my best friend on the show. And we reach out to him and he's game. And from that moment on, like every pitch from the writing staff was for Richard.
Yeah, writers really want to write for Richard Kahn.
They really do, to the point that I was like, I'm out there too, you know? But like, there's no one you want to write for more. We gave him a lot of written stuff as well, and he was, and on the fly. Like,
yes.
We didn't have a proper dress rehearsal with an audience.
Yeah, can you just walk through a little, it is, because it's an unbelievable undertaking. Yes, talk shows are live every night, regular talk shows, and I want to
They're taped.
They're live to tape, right?
They're in front of a live audience and taped.
Right, and this is what this is what I genuinely want to get to, is why should you win the Emmy over these other shows? What is lacking with those other shows?
All those shows are great.
But what's wrong with the hosts? I want you to talk
The edge we have is Richard.
Yeah, it's the Richard factor.
It's 100% the Richard.
Give it a little sense of like the day, how that worked, because you guys wrote and made a bunch of stuff, but then on the day you were, it's an unbelievable undertaking.
Well, what was cool was the first episode was like May 3rd or something. So we did it, you know? And it was May 3rd.
Whoa, good story.
Well, I was just struck by not remembering
the day,
the premiere.
Yeah.
When there were only 6 episodes. So we did that, and then we had 2 days off. But I had to do the Hollywood Bowl the next night.
Had to.
And you were there, and you were fantastic.
Oh.
Got to and had to. And then the 5th.
The roast?
That was the roast of Tom Brady. So like, everyone was, it's pretty good, right? And so they did that, right? Anyway.
I can't tell if Nickelback is a disruptor or...
Like this show, he's the ultimate industry disruptor. No, this is my dad. So, the point was, I started to get into the minutiae of the days. We never had time to learn from the show.
Right.
And
that's clear.
We did, yeah, it is. In a fun way, I think it is clear. Like, a lot of shows really become a well-oiled machine, and we were like that, we were the thing that like Pee-wee eats breakfast off.
Right. But you're the opening show, like the idea that you said, like, and that this show will never find its groove.
No, we never did.
But I would argue you did throughout, and part of the joy of it is the fact that it is grooveless. That it was such an intense, compacted event that it was designed specifically to not do anything or except what you set out to do with it.
I eventized local talk television.
Yeah.
No, really.
It
was the build up and the work, and then what it was fucking taking phone calls about palm trees.
Right. Well, but then by episode 5, you did. I would argue what everybody saw tonight is so deep in the groove. You have like.
But there's a couple calls in that episode that just rewatching it backstage, I was like, Jesus Christ, hang up on him, John. Like, you gotta.
No, but then like it was so fun to watch. It's so fun to watch all these different comedians deal with it, including Linnell, who did you know you? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Stole them, not that show, but stole the entire series. I mean, just was so funny.
Yeah. And did she and Letterman keep in touch after the show?
Do you know what? They did.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, because he didn't know how AirDrop worked. So they exchanged numbers to share a photo, and now they talk all the time.
Letterman's so slick, though. He's like, I don't know how AirDrop works. Yeah. I have to get your phone number.
No, but
it'd be so funny if they start doing a show together in Vegas.
Oh my God. That'd be such a brilliant way for him to just last chapter of his career. Just be in Vegas for 30 years with Linder. His songs, and it's like we all go see it, and you're like, it's not that good.
It's
like,
it's very earnest.
It's like when Barbra Streisand did George W. Bush sketches. That's one of my favorite times.
They have one of Siegfried's old tigers.
Yeah.
A depressed old tiger.
Yeah.
So, how, I wanted to,
You like Las Vegas?
I like, we went to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
We had a everything go wrong Vegas trip.
100%.
We wanted...
Not like a scandalous. We wanted to go see Britney Spears' show, and
you had gotten tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
and I acted like a big shot. I was like, my agent set it all up. Watch, I'll walk over now and be handed them. And
they did not have tickets for us at all.
They had no patience.
We kept going like, but can we? And they finally were like, no, we know who you are. And there's no tickets to this show for you. So shuffle on down to the $10 fucking slots at Caesar. Dissemination of Caesar. Do you like Vegas?
I've learned to like it. I do the Wynn now. I used to do the Mirage.
Yeah.
I was doing the Mirage with our good friend Joe Mandy.
Sure.
And we were the 9 o'clock show. Boys to Men was the 7 o'clock show. Every night we're standing backstage and there's a cooler that says, "Keep out. Boys to Men only." And we go, all right, we're respectful people, right?
Of course.
Last night we open it. There's 3 little Gatorades.
No. Speaking of Vegas, would you do this show again? And would you do it in another city?
Is everybody in the city? Because really, it was really convenient that so many people were in the city.
Right. Well, we could do it in Montreal for the big Montreal Comedy Festival.
Did they do that this year?
No, it went bankrupt. because of an email phishing scam.
Really?
Yeah. I know we're supposed to be here for but everybody pull out their phones and look at
the festival clicked on the wrong link?
Yes, and got scammed out of $800,000.
Canadian dollars.
Yeah. It's still $650,000 American.
You think it would work to do in different cities?
I think so.
New Jersey's a state.
He's a disruptor. Let him have it.
This disruptor, now he's making state cities.
Yeah. What city would you guys like to have it in? I'm hearing San Bernardino. All right. John, before I let the writers up here and the other people, is there anything that I haven't covered? Can we talk about, I guess I want to talk about the grapes now.
Yeah, it took me a minute to realize those are the grapes from the show. Those are the actual glass grapes. Guys, look at me when I'm talking. I mean, everybody's in LA show. You came here because you were interested in it.
Yeah.
Don't act like you're not excited that those are the...
But if you want to see him again, you can go to the Rose Bowl Flea Market on Sunday. And for $92, they can break in your trunk on the way home.
Did I tell you about when I got stranded at the Rose Bowl, in the parking lot? Okay. My dear friend Marcus, he wants to teach me stick.
Oh,
this is summer of 2021.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So we go out, we Turo a car. That's where you get a car on your phone. We get an old 1966 stick shift car. We take it to the Rose Bowl parking lot. He's gonna teach me stick. I'm going around, I'm not doing that badly, you understand? Then I go, let's take it into the streets of Pasadena, right? The residential streets.
Sure.
So with stick, and this is true, it's hard. So I put it in what I thought was first, but was reverse. And I go flying up on a curb. I shear off the oil pan. So now we're dripping oil everywhere. Marcus goes, switch seats with me. I go, why? He goes, you just got out of rehab. I go, that's true. So we switch seats, and then we eventually push the car down to the Rose Bowl parking lot. And then we called AAA.
John Mulaney, the Lance Armstrong of comedians. He made a woman switch seats with him when he was inebriated.
He did?
Yeah.
He was up to so much. He's like a guy you go like, oh,
Yeah.
and then people start telling you stories.
I know. He makes you look like the John Mulaney we thought.
Thanks, man.
Folks, I'd like to now introduce the creative team behind the show. Please welcome to the stage co-executive producer Dave Ferguson, segment producer there's David, segment producer Brook Linder. The fantastic writers included Drezen, Fran, Gillespie, Langston, Kerman, and Scordelis. Hi Anna.
Hi, everybody.
Hi Fran. Hi Langston. You just tripped right on your water. Yay!
Fucking joke.
But before we get into the next part of the panel, I think we have another special guest.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
There he is.
There he is.
It's Saymo.
This is him, right? This is the
Sorry,
real guy.
this is the real guy, but I just want to say, the notes say he's going to circle the stage. This Saymo really gets the comedy.
Go behind the sign.
Can you do it?
Go behind Alex Langston.
Okay, can you go all the way behind there? Wow.
Okay.
Dude, fucking AI rocks.
This is good FYC panel right here.
Right, this
Yeah.
is it. So let's talk about Saymo.
So that's the Saymo, and he's made by Serve Robotics, and he's one of the army of Serve Robotics servers that you see out in Hollywood and West Hollywood and no other areas. And, well, it wouldn't make sense, and if it's too hilly. But this guy's all right. Saymo's a good guy, you know. And if you see, now is Saymo out in circulation? So if you see one that says Saymo on it, it's not. They're not a bunch of them called Saymo. That's the one from the show.
So like you should be starstruck if you see this one. This is the one.
No, that is the one.
Are we supposed to?
So if you see him leaving Bristol Farms at 11:30 p.m., where I once saw Linda Hunt.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's the weird? Who's? I want to ask everybody this, and
Oh.
I want to spend the whole panel this way. Who's your first celebrity sighting in LA? Your best.
Chris Kattan.
Oh wow.
Where was that, Brook?
It was at a gas station at Western in Santa Monica. He was putting air in his tire.
Oh wow. So I met. I was at a party with Alicia Silverstone.
Whoa.
And thanks. And she was like, "Hey, good to see you." And I was like, "Oh, we don't really know each other." She's like, "No, I was at your," and I was like, "No, you weren't." And then she's like, "Oh, I thought you were Chris Kattan." I was like, "Cool." For me, it was Weird Al at Toy Tie. That was pretty cool.
Lobby of what was then called Endeavor. Ray Liotta.
Of course, I was with you.
You were with me, and Smith had just been canceled.
Yeah.
And he was yelling in the phone.
It was the writers.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. So, Dan Ferguson.
Ray Liotta in a bathroom.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Where Liotta?
Yeah, at a Dodgers game, and close enough that I could smell his urine. No joke. Like maybe asparagus level, but it was a moment for me as a young boy from Ohio to remember.
It's really unnerving. I also saw Chris Kattan.
Really?
Real?
Where?
2 and 2 at the Wells Fargo across from Salt and Straw.
Well, you know what's really cool? He's actually here tonight. If he can stand by.
He is inside of Saymo, and he's gonna pop out like mango. Alex?
I would say Chaz Palminteri.
Oh, sure.
It's a restaurant And
Where?
It was in West Hollywood. I forget the name of the restaurant, but he came up to me smiling. He thought he knew who I was. Then the closer he got, there was like disappointment in his face, and he kept walking.
Who do you think he thought you were?
Ray Romano is my theory.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Langston?
Forrest Whitaker at IHOP.
Oh really?
He went in to use the bathroom. It didn't
You
go
smell
well.
this?
It didn't go well. What happened?
That's embarrassing for him.
What happened? What happened to him?
The lady didn't really want to let him use the bathroom. And
Really?
It was a little tense moment between them. And then my friend Will was like, "Oh shit, you're Forrest Whitaker." And then he got embarrassed and left.
Fran?
Okay, mine's Rachel Bilson.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And she was at that restaurant on Hillhurst where all the UCB people get like chopped salads.
Uh-huh.
What's that called?
Oh,
Thousand Oaks.
no.
Oaks.
No.
No,
On
top.
Hillhurst.
Stamp.
Shout
On
out
Hillhurst.
to Noah.
Alco. Across from
Thank
Alco.
you. Shit. You're the woman from that Spectrum makes me turn to every time I turn on my TV. Whoa, for those of you guys in here, there were 2 3.5 earthquakes while this was running. That is the unbelievable influence that this show has had.
I forget, we used to know pretty well, like, can you feel a 3-5? Yeah.
Not really.
There's 2s and 1s going on all the time, by the way.
Also, we were back there, and they do not have the audience mic'd on the monitor back there.
So you thought we were just bombing up here?
I could feel and hear everything, and I didn't feel it. I feel like it's a good bet.
I guess I'm gonna ask these questions now. And David and Brook, you guys were producing. You guys produced and directed. I'll start with you, Brook. The interstitials and all the pieces are so beautiful.
Thanks,
They're
man.
really cool and,
Brook, yeah.
and are a real vibe. How did you guys, John and David and Brook, how did you guys navigate that? How did you decide on that, and how did you execute?
Well, so Brook filmed our opening titles, all of our bumpers, and then he filmed all our postcards, which are what we called those short interviews with people around Los Angeles. And yeah, they were incredible. They really are. They're just a huge aesthetic and tonal part of the show. And I think Brook was like second hire, first day. I was talking about.
I thought you meant that someone else had passed.
Yeah. Day one of looking for directors, a bunch of people had passed, and then we went to Brook. No, I was telling Ferguson about this Wayne Wang film called Blue in the Face. It has a narrative plot with Harvey Keitel in it, but it's kind of about Brooklyn, and they have a lot of short interviews with people around Brooklyn, and I was telling you about that, and you said, I just worked with this guy, Brook Linder, on a project, and I watched a few videos of Brook's online, and I was like, that was the most fun and impulsive, one of the most impulsive moments of the show. And I was like, hire this man. And then we met with Brook and loved him. And
I think you honestly met on a Thursday and you shot on the following Tuesday. Your first one. It was very impulsive and really fun.
What was the first one you guys shot?
We did in the beginning, the interviews, we did My Mechanic.
Uh-huh.
And then I had hurt my foot, so we did My Foot Doctor.
Yeah, Brook's first 15 pitches were people he knew from his life.
yeah, and people that he needed
To be fair, they were good.
Yeah. How do you find the tennis pro?
That was Pablo Goldstein, our researcher. He took lessons from him and was like, he's cool. And then Frank Mobilio, our DP, also took lessons from him. So
Frank had independently taken lessons in tennis lifestyle.
And he was like, yeah, he's cool. So
he was chill, yeah.
He is chill.
I think anytime I'm stressed to myself, I think of, as a mantra, what he said. He goes, tennis lifestyle means teach tennis, try to get people excited about playing, go home, read a little, drink a couple beers, do it all over again.
Yeah.
So throughout the TV show, whenever I get stressed, I just say to myself, tennis lifestyle means teach tennis, get people excited.
and Nancy was my landlord.
Oh, the woman in the earthquake.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah. So I had never seen the tape before, but she told me about it.
You live in that house?
Not anymore. I moved out last year, but
Oh, but you were living in that house?
oh yeah, for like a decade. Yeah.
Wow.
So his mechanic owned this place called Two Guys from Sweden. Where was that?
It's in like Culver City. He's pretty good.
And you had like a Swedish car?
Yeah, I had a Volvo, and it was like a real problem, so I was there all the time. So I got to know him pretty well, and he was cool.
And he's from Sweden, but the place is called Two Guys from Sweden, but there's only one guy from Sweden.
The other guy's not from Sweden. So we interviewed him about it.
Didn't make the cut.
Didn't make the cut. Now,
There are excellent. I mean, there was excellent stuff that didn't make the show. It was purely a time thing.
To Anna, Fran, Alex, and Langston, this show is very, very LA. You guys have all lived here for a while. Fran, probably you moved here a few years ago, right?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Was there things that you were advocating for, specifically passionate about, either in the writing of it or subject matter that you wanted to hit or anything like that?
I came in so hot out of the gate as someone who moved here 2 years ago, being like, you guys, there's this place called Echo Park Lake. You gotta get a crew to Echo Park Lake. They got these swan boats, okay? You were like, my funny Swedish guy. I was like, I shouldn't pitch anything LA related.
I think I went pretty hard for spooky stuff, scary stuff, because the group of friends I have out here, our main way to hang out is to go see a scary movie. But I don't like any of that, but I do like having friends here. So it just became this sort of thing where I was like, I'm not sleeping at night because we're seeing Ringu, and then it's like, but if I don't see Ringu, that means I haven't seen Friends for 3 weeks. So like, I had to make a lot of, like decisions to dip my toe into spooky so that I still had a social life.
Sure.
But I found it, I felt, I was commenting on it as an outsider.
So were you interested? Go ahead, John.
No, I just, from your interest in, or your, your having to be around a lot of spooky things and spooky business, then we decided we would do a spooky episode, and that became the episode known as Paranormal, our 4th of 6 episodes.
Yes. John, it would have been so funny if you hosted the show this way and had guests behind you.
If we do more, that's a great idea.
Langston, you've been here for a while as well. Was there stuff that you were sort of pushing for, things?
I would say the idea that I probably spent the most time on that didn't come to be. We desperately were trying to get in contact with the Nation of Islam. Like, truly tried every motherfucker we knew in Los Angeles. I asked my barber.
And all they did was give you the blazer John's wearing tonight?
We literally went and visited. There's a building.
Yeah, what do you mean by we, Lane?
Well, me and our whitest producer went and visited.
Walked down Hollywood Boulevard towards the Scientology Center. Yeah.
We visited a Scientology center that doubles as the Nation of Islam's headquarters. And we went looking for them, and then there was just like a Mexican church happening there, and we gave up pretty soon after.
Remember the woman was like, I know how to get, like one woman was like, come here, I know how to get in touch with
No,
you.
what happened, we talked to the janitor there, who then made a call to a lady who was not there. And then on the phone, she said, I'll call you back. I know how to get in touch with them, I'll call you back. And you bet your bottom dollar she never called back.
Had to keep their eye on the donut.
We were hard out to the ministers and not hearing them.
Yeah, meanwhile, Tom Cruise and Farrakhan are playing tennis right now. Allegedly. Alex?
Could have been.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I pushed for anything. I was more kind of casually mentioned things.
That's your style in the
That's
room.
my style in the room.
Okay.
The first thing that came to mind is I think I mentioned that when I first moved here, I lived in Los Feliz, and I'd go to the Los Feliz Public Library, and I'd work a lot in the Leonardo DiCaprio Computer Center, and that became a postcard on the show, I believe. That's
Yes.
just like casually mentioning that's a place I used to hang out.
But that's really, I mean, it's one of the many really wonderful things about the show is that is the specificity of it across the board. And I think finding those weird elements to the city that speak to you guys kind of all individually.
Alex, you also, you cover a lot of, you take your Greek son a lot of places. And so you'd say like, I took my son here and there.
Yes.
We were gonna do a thing on elaborate playgrounds in Los Angeles that are high stakes.
Shades
Inspiration is a
Yeah.
killer playground.
Killer playgrounds.
It's a different show, but we can talk
No,
about
but we really wanted to examine. It feels like there's this arms race among playgrounds in Los Angeles to have like the highest tower with the black rope spider web.
It's getting very dangerous.
It's getting really dangerous.
But here's the thing: is a bunch of grown men show up with cameras to a playground, and everybody freaks the fuck out.
We showed up one day asking if anyone knew the Nation of Islam. We were going to interview the Nation of Islam about whether they liked my stand-up. Was that the?
It was their take on comedy
That's
in
right.
general, and specifically if they thought you were a good advocate for comedy.
And if I was a good speaker.
Well, don't you have a joke sort of in that? Don't you have is it a Farrakhan joke?
Oh, I'm like Louis Farrakhan. I mean a lot to a small group of people.
Speaking of the phone calls, I just want to talk about the coordination of this, how that happened. Was it a complicated thing to do, or was it?
Well, if you bring, and it's crazy thing, it's not the first time it's come up on a show that I've been on, where the answer from everyone in the production realm is, you can't do it. Like, you can't take live phone calls. Like, we heard horror stories. Was it a Joan Rivers?
The Joan Rivers, when she had her Fox show.
Yeah, they like shut down.
I thought you were gonna say when she had her surgery.
Yeah.
Wow.
I knew Joan Rivers. Can I tell a quick Joan Rivers story?
Of course.
Absolutely.
I
Will
was
it move the needle?
What's that? Yeah, I'm trying to fucking dig this out for you guys. So, not for you, not because I buried it. So,
For our
but
state.
I was on a plane with Joan Rivers, and Bradley Cooper was also on the plane, and I'm sitting next to Joan Rivers, and she goes,
Is it a commercial flight?
"Is a commercial flight?" So, and I'll get into this: who's flying private and who's flying commercial. So, and also how much each of I want to get everybody's salary. Question for you as well.
Pre-strike, post-strike.
Yeah. So I'm on a plane with Joan Rivers. Bradley Cooper's also on the plane, and she looks at me. She goes, "Watch this. The plane's gonna crash, and the headline's gonna be Joan Rivers." Oh fuck! I blew it. Watch this. The headline's gonna be Bradley Cooper and 2 comedians died on a plane today, and it was a highlight of my life.
That's
Sorry,
great.
that was great. Sorry.
But yes, yeah, give it up.
No.
Is this moving the needle? By a show of hands, are you more or less?
Is this a nomination or
Is that a
Yeah.
nomination really
This
applies
is
to
to
me?
drum up enthusiasm for nominations.
Well, I will say, so the question about phone
It's
calls.
just an exciting.
We were lucky enough to have a great live producer by the name of Ashley Edens, who just was like so positively responding to every idea.
Ashley's here. Hey, Ashley.
Ashley, give it up.
Our wonderful VP John Foy is right next to her.
And she found also a wonderful producer to assist her, James Kim, who's a wonderful phone call.
James Kim, who done NPR
work. And
a lot of stuff, but that was
yeah.
the in terms of raw calls coming in.
Yes, and so it was this complicated thing
Mustard
of
seed. Sorry, that's the name of the restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Like you're home.
Rachel
like you're out,
Wilson
so-
at Mustard Seed, everybody.
Do we like alcove?
oh
No,
no.
overpriced, 20% too expensive.
But it's got like cakes in the thing that look like the movie Hook.
It
You know how the desserts in Hook look so good?
They
That's how
look-
the alcove desserts.
You remember how in It's Complicated she owns an independent, she owns like what's basically a Dina DeLuca, but it's like she owns it, it's like not a corporation.
Sure.
Like, what the fuck is it?
Yeah.
That's kind of what alcove reminds me of, like Nancy Meyer's
Sure.
fake restaurant.
You love it. You love Nancy Meyer's.
That's a whole other panel.
That's a whole other panel.
So much.
But I want to get to the call. So, are you wearing an earpiece?
Yeah, I had an
Okay. So
earpiece.
are they talking to you the
Ashley
whole
was
time?
talking to me the whole
Ashley
time.
and she's just talking to you about fucking Trump. You know,
Yeah.
she's feeling about
It's
everything.
just going. Can you believe this?
This guy, can you believe it?
You know who was actually, it wasn't actually, it was Robert Kennedy Jr. was invited. That smooth voice, the dulcet tones.
Just keeping you that tennis lifestyle voice.
He's in your ear and worms in his.
So the voice is in your, and it's like, and you're like, it's Ben Mankiewicz. Ben Mankiewicz is on the phone, and you are trying to suss out whether it's like you at.
I didn't think it wouldn't, like, I never thought she was like pranking me with the Ben Mankiewicz, but I would double check, and then so on spooky / paranormal night, Fran put a snake inside Saymo. So when he pulled up next to me, I opened it and there was a rubber snake, and I'm not an idiot, so I didn't scream or anything. I'm not like an old lady or something. But I was like, oh, it was
Clooney moment.
Yeah.
Real Clooney.
Yeah, this is real true. That was done just for the press later on. Were there some fun
100%. We always lay the groundwork for panel.
and here we are.
On episode 5, Ashley was like, Lunel had been cold. My wonderful assistant Kelly thought, let's put a blanket in Saymo and send him out there to Lunel. And Ashley was going, there's a blanket in there. Like, I don't give a shit what Fran put in there either. First it's rubber snakes, now it's some blanket with a snake on it. All designed to be spookier than the next. So I didn't go like, but in my head I was like, I ain't getting no funny blanket out. And then Ashley went again, like, please, there's a blanket in there for Lunel.
Your guest is cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that what you asked?
Yeah, the vetting process for those calls was like a general interest in the topic, but to your credit, I think you never wanted them to be over prepared with a heavy anecdote.
James really, like, for someone that knew us for
same hiring process as Brook.
Yeah, he was a hire in the room. That's so fun. Remember when we did that?
Guys,
Like,
I'm
James,
Howard,
you
right?
have the job, you know? That was
If you
so
want to get
exciting.
hired by John, you just get in the room first.
That's how I got Oh Hello.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's give it up. Let me see the oh hello here.
Oh, it was great. I declare it. Great.
Yeah, it was great. It turned into a two-parter. One of the few things that was somehow too long for an 8-minute slot in the TV show comes in at 16 minutes in the first cut. How are we going to get this down to 10?
Yeah.
Old Punks, the interview with Old Punks, the original cut was
30 minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes. Now, I don't know, maybe by show of hands or TV, people have worked in this general genre of TV. If you shoot 14 hours of footage for a 5-minute segment, how's your ratio feeling? But that happened multiple times.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll get a critique from a friend like, I love that piece a little long. It's like, you should have seen the first cut. It was 45 minutes. But I do think like your tolerance for that.
Your friends are saying it was a little long.
Yeah, you don't get that?
Those are your
The
friends?
hell?
They're my closest personal friends.
Yeah, but that's what every note is always.
Yes.
It's always
Yes.
too long.
No
Yeah.
one gave me any. I talked to 6
We don't
people
pass that
all
up the
told me it was
chain.
great.
Well, yeah.
But
It was only six nights. You would have
Yeah.
gotten the note.
One
Yeah.
person at night told me, yeah.
and that was a very, I think, a liberating thing for the room. I think that was fun to know you could find stuff.
Well, you guys really, this show is, it's like the panel stuff is so fun and it like but the sketch, there's so many pieces. That's what I was kind of blown away. It's like, it's a dense show. There's so many pieces. Did you guys, I'll go around to the writers and stuff and all of you guys, but did you have favorite pieces that you guys were a part of or that you like loved? Speak.
Everybody's hoping that John answers first.
Yeah. John, did you have
A favorite thing?
I don't know.
No, I really wanted. I wanted everyone to go make what they wanted,
Yes.
and I was like, I will put it on. We can't get renewed. We should actually be a variety show, meaning like I don't want it to feel like I wrote. There's some things like Oh Hello that you and I did together, but I don't want every tape piece to feel like it's co-authored or authored by me. I want you guys to make what you want to make, pursue it, and with that, like you take a little responsibility. Like I don't want to be on every piece, so like go make it. It's a real. Is he shutting down?
He's backing off.
He reset.
He reset.
He reset.
I would say you did
So
say
I-
early on, like, you truly wanted to make a variety show, and that's something I'd heard you say before.
Now, are you
We're
in the variety?
no.
Okay, you're not
We're
in the
top
variety. Yeah, you're
category.
not in the variety category.
Yeah.
You're in the talk show. So
We're
can
a
you guys
talk
talk
show with
shit
a lot
about
of
some of the
You're in
John
the
Mulaney?
talk show category?
Yeah, you're in the
Yeah.
you're in the talk show.
Welcome to the panel.
Yeah.
But I think I think in the sense of like you were saying, like vintage great TV where you couldn't expect what would come next, where you're getting different voices to come through.
Yeah.
Like that was in the fabric of the beginning of the show.
Well, it's like, and I think like obviously every talk show was doing their Terrence Howard.
Yes, take down.
So
That was really special. I mean, I loved so many things on the show. New math is
Yeah, that was fun. He just kept coming out with new stuff. It really.
I feel like it the way like when they would write about the Zodiac, he'd strike again. I feel like that piece made Terrence like go like, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think he's got my newest shit. I think there's a few new math things I want to talk about.
Anna, any thoughts?
I shot something called Little John Oliver.
Oh, yeah.
An
Great.
11-year-old named Solly Werner, who's a star.
Yeah.
And he had one other TV credit. It was a takedown of John for
Mulaney.
John Mulaney,
Yeah.
skimming off the top of his ticket sales.
Yes.
John, picture in picture, really melting down about it. And Solly had one other TV credit, which was playing violin on the reboot of Frasier.
Here we are. And
He said our set was better than that one. So, really nice.
The vibe was better than the
The
reason.
vibe was better.
That's
And
really
John's politics more conservative than Kelsey Grammer.
A restless soul grammar. A restless soul.
What about Alex, Fran?
In this episode, the Wanger doing stand-up was a lot of
Yeah,
fun to
yeah.
work on. And then also doing the Old Punks focus group was one of the greatest days of my life. That was so
Yeah.
much fun. Endless. It was everything that was said that day was the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Linda Ramone walked up to John, and her first thing she said was, "Are you a rock and roller? Do you like glitter rock? Do
Yeah.
you like punk rock?"
Was what are you into? Glitter rock, punk rock? Those were the two genres.
Fran, glitter rock, punk rock?
I would say Saymo finding Flea. Alex and I worked on that together, and I feel like it was kind of a marriage of pre-tape and live, but also took a lot of coordinating with Ashley and the live team. Plus, it was just like getting all those mechanics down really. I don't know, it just felt sort of fun when it was going on,
Yeah.
and like anything could have happened, gone wrong. And when we got to Denny's, Angeline was there, which was crazy. It was just a coincidence that like an LA icon was at the Denny's, and then Flea wanted to meet her, and it was just, I don't know, just felt like anything could happen.
And who wrote? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say that my honest favorite piece didn't make the cut. But
Yeah.
Fran made it.
Yeah.
And it was Kobe murals. It's the most beautiful thing that I think I've ever seen in my life. And you should talk about it, but it's phenomenal shit that we would have been sued to no end if we released it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you put together, it's a tribute to all of the Kobe murals around LA. There are, how many?
400.
400. Of varying quality.
You're clapping. You're clapping, but we weren't doing it that way.
But, in a way, but,
It was
okay,
a celebration of outsider art.
Yes, with an original song and music video by
Tazon Day,
Tazon Day,
Chocolate Rain, fame.
called Glory and Murals, Champions Rise. So apparently though, an outdoor mural's not, like you can't show it legally without compensating the muralists. Which is in theory, not in theory, it's great, you know, you gotta help muralists, but we filmed like 100 murals before, we just thought they're on walls.
Well, we should clarify, they'll let you do it as long as you make commentary.
That's the thing. First we had a take on it. We were like,
Yeah,
some of these don't look great. But we wanted to be sensitive. I do want to stress, like, we were very aware of being sensitive about it. Then Then Tay comes in with his song. And you come into my office and you go, I got an MP3 for you. And
And it
play
was just sort of gorgeous. And then
It's
we were
gorgeous.
like, it's celebratory. It's about how gorgeous the murals are. And then the lawyer's like, you said you were gonna make fun of them. We're like, well, no, they're gorgeous. And then they said,
So it's no longer a parody.
yeah, it's not a parody.
And we were like, no, it's a celebration. And they're like, then you're gonna get sued.
My
But if
hope
we had written a song called Bad Murals, rest in peace, but that's a terrible mural, your mural's bad.
Yeah.
They would have gone, that's a hilarious parody.
So really, it's Tay's on Day's fault.
It is, because, and I think it was Tay who said, glory in murals, champions rise, coming together, having good times.
I hope the walk away from this panel is John Mulaney thinks muralists are making too much money. But
Their
I
name
do
in
hope.
the corner.
I-
That's the other thing is you can't go, when they put their name in the corner, you can't go, we had no idea who did it. It's called, what did our lawyer call it? Due diligence.
I think you've all done your due diligence by coming here
May I
today.
say something?
Yeah,
Sorry.
sure.
Langston Kerman right here has his own Netflix special that is called Bad Poetry. Langston Kerman Bad Poetry. I was very lucky to direct it, and it's coming
This
out.
guy.
It's coming out on Netflix August 20th. Of this
You better watch, bitch.
Well, I just want to say, you guys made a Saymo. There are drinks inside of you, and we never even got to them. That's on you. Oh, that's all I needed to do. But I just want to say, you guys made a very funny, very unique, special, entertaining show that has never been seen or done before.
Thank you.
And it absolutely deserves to win the Emmy against the other talk shows, and talk about why those other talk shows are lacking. But thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, Dan.